welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about a topic that is so near and dear to my heart, which is romanticizing your life as a mom. If you've been around on this channel for any length of time, you will know that this is huge for me. This absolutely changed my life, changed my motherhood, changed my kids' childhoods. And I made a video like this a couple of years ago, so if you want to check that one out, I'll make sure to leave a card at the end of the video. But I've learned some new tips and tricks over the years, and I wanted to do an updated version because I've been implementing all of this stuff for a few years now, and I truly think that I would not be the same person or the same mother without these tips. Just for context, when my son was a little over a year old, I was really struggling with motherhood. I was so sad. I was having a really hard time with the routine of it all. I wasn't feeling like myself. I was feeling like my life just felt lackluster, and I was just kind of despairing a little bit of like, is this what my life is now? Like, do I even like being a mom? I loved my son, but I feel like I was getting so stuck in the day-to-day hardships and not celebrating the good things about motherhood so much that I just felt stuck. And I decided, I don't like that. I don't want that to be how I look back on my motherhood, and it's not how I want to feel now. So I started romanticizing my life, and basically this is just taking all of the little things that already exist in your day-to-day and like bumping them up a notch, and then making sure that you take the moment to be mindful and grateful for them. I think that that's the biggest tip of all, is to just be so intentional about gratitude. One of the ways that I personally do this is a method that I like to call telling myself a story, and basically this is just narrating whatever is happening in my day in my head as if it were like a POV TikTok caption. So instead of like, okay, today I gotta go to the grocery store, I gotta weed the garden, I have to XYZ, I will tell myself a story that sounds something like, POV, you're taking your tiny little best friend to the grocery store and he picks you out your favorite flower, and then you get to share your like passion for the outdoors and watch him learn and be curious, XYZ, and just like really editorialize it. Because a lot of the time the things that I feel like are just kind of things on a to-do list, if I actually like put them into a narrative, make me realize that I'm having a really, really good day and I'm filling my day with things that I really love to do, but I don't necessarily get there emotionally if I don't take the time to tell myself that story. So I do this multiple times a day, every day, and it has made life feel so magical. And it's like free and easy and takes 2 seconds. The second thing I would recommend doing is to film. Set your phone up all the time, somewhere where it's out of the way, you're not gonna notice it, your kids aren't gonna notice it, you don't like have your phone in their face all the time, but just like set it off to the side and film your everyday, and you will be surprised at the magical moments that you capture, even if it's something mundane like making dinner and your kid is helping you. Seriously, looking at it through the lens puts a whole new perspective on it. And if you wanna take it one step further, make a monthly little like highlight reel. You don't have to share it on social media. I do this almost every month. I almost never share them, but I take all of those little clips that I've had my phone set up while I've, you know, taken Juniper to a coffee shop and we're just like sitting drinking smoothies together, or we're baking, or they brought me a flower out in the garden or whatever, and I put them all in like a 15-second montage. Each clip gets like a little second. I put some music over it and I watch it over and over and over and over again, and it just really cements in my brain all of the good, magical, tiny little moments that might pass me by if I wasn't being very intentional about giving them some mental space and energy. Another tip that I have is to put movie soundtracks on in the background of whatever you're doing. Specifically, soundtracks like the Pride and Prejudice soundtrack is a great one. There's a composer on Spotify named James Quinn that is my go-to, and it's just like this soft instrumental kind of piano music, but it sounds very sentimental. And when I tell you that it is like flipping a switch to make whatever you're doing go from being mundane to feeling like you're in a movie, it is nuts. I will put this on while I'm making food. I will put it on while we are out on a walk. I will put it on when we're playing in the backyard, and it just makes my life feel like a movie. And it's great, and it makes me so happy. Something you probably already know but does bear repeating is get outside. It is so much easier to romanticize your life when you are in nature's, in the outdoors, whether that's just going into your backyard and laying down a quilt and having a picnic in the backyard, or if you want to go to like a local lake and feed the ducks. There's a piece of cliche parenting advice that's like, if your kiddo is having a hard time, add water or sunlight, and I swear to you, it works every time. Whether it's like a bath or a walk outside, adding sunlight and water water will instantly improve everybody's mood. And it just puts you in a better headspace to get to that place of gratitude and romanticizing your life. Another piece of advice that I have is to find a way to involve your kids in the things that you love to do, because it's bonding time, but it also gives you more space to do your hobbies. So like, I love baking. I find a way to involve my kids in baking all the time. Something that I saw on my friend Kylene's Instagram was that she has been doing watercolor painting. And instead of like waiting until the kids naps to do her painting, she will get them their own little like cheap little watercolor set and a piece of paper, and they'll paint too. And so then it's like an easy gateway to that telling yourself a story thing, right? And also you have more time suddenly during their naps to get other things done, and they're feeling included in your passions, and they're seeing you get excited, so it's good for them too. I think it can be easy as parents to feel like everything needs to be centered around our children and what they want to do, rather than bringing them into our lives and finding a way to make those two things mesh. But I think there's so much value in the latter. Something else that I do that has hugely helped me in romanticizing my life as a mom is making monthly vision boards. I'm a huge vision board person. You all probably already know that, but making one specifically for motherhood for each month has been game changing. So I will put things like aesthetic pictures that correspond to whatever plans we have going on for the month. So for example, when I did my like summer vision board that I showed you guys in a vlog a while back, I knew we would be going to a baseball game for Rowan's birthday. So I added a picture of like this family, and the mom was holding a baby, and like the sun is beautiful and you can see the baseball field, and it just like made that whole moment when we actually went feel like a vibe, because I was like, oh, we're stepping into this type of vignette that I've already seen on my vision board. Something else I always add to my mom vision boards are like easy crafts or activities that are like aesthetic and cute. I'll put those on there, as well as just like general vibes. Like, how do I want my motherhood to feel this month? And that can change, you know, depending on what season of life you're in. Sometimes I'm like, I want my motherhood this month to be fun and exciting, and we're gonna go out and do all these things, and I have all these activities planned. And sometimes I'm like, I want my motherhood to feel sentimental and calm and slow, and we're gonna spend time, you know, under the apple tree in the backyard, just hanging out together. And maybe we're gonna go take a walk along the water, sit in the rocking chair on the front porch with a quilt. Every month is different, and I always make it either my computer background or my phone background so that I see it every day. Something that I schedule into my month every month is a solo date with each member of my family. And that sounds like a lot more effort than it is, but it's really not, you know, super hard to do when, again, you roll your kids into things you're already doing. So if I've done a declutter and I have to go to the thrift store to drop stuff off, or I need to go to the craft store to get something for a video project that I'm doing, I'll ask Rowan if he wants to go along, but then like I make a big thing out of it, and like in the car I'm like, let's go on a special mommy Roro date, and I usually like buy him like a treat to eat while we're there, or he gets to like pick out a little craft to do with me, and we make sure that we have some just like intentional time to talk, and he feels like he's getting that one-on-one attention, like, ooh, I got to go do this fun thing with mommy all by myself, and I wasn't sharing her attention with sissy or with daddy, etc. I actually literally have a tracker in my Notion board, and every single month there's a checkbox for each member of the family for the solo date, and I make sure that I check it off every single month. Another thing that you can do is ask your partner to take candid photos and videos of you. I feel like we've all sent our husband or wife this Instagram reel at least once, but it bears repeating, and you gotta remind them sometimes, maybe even put a little reminder in on your phone. But this is something that my husband and I do for each other, and also that my mother-in-law and I do for each other. And it's so fun to kind of get to see your parenthood through somebody else's eyes. Every time Matt does something that I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cute, I'll just kind of surreptitiously pull out my camera. They don't know that it's happening. And then like at night when I'm laying in bed, I'm like, hey, look what I got. And he's like, oh my gosh. Something else that I have been obsessed with recently is mommy and me outfits. I know this is like a shallower part of this whole romanticizing your life thing, but it is impossible not to romanticize motherhood when you are wearing a matching outfit with your kid. It's just impossible, especially if you go out in public and people are like, oh my gosh, you match. It's just like the best feeling. And my kids love matching, both me and Matt. And I have matching outfits with Rowan. I probably have more with Juniper because I'm a dress person, so I buy a lot of dresses, and she's more likely to wear a dress. But they are so fun, and Juniper gets so excited. Even if it's just like something small, like we have matching bracelets, and in the morning, every morning, she will put out her little wrist and be like, Mama, match. Mama bracelet match, and we choose our little matching bracelets for the day, and it is just like the cutest, sweetest little routine. And then the last piece of advice that I have is to journal it out. This is something that I am a huge proponent of. I feel like in the same vein as making a baby book, having some kind of like motherhood gratitude journal to look back on, especially when you're like maybe not feeling so hot about yourself and your motherhood, is such a good thing to do. Shameless self-plug, I am biased because I did write these, and they come in lots of cute little aesthetics, so depending on what your vibe is, I've got one for you. But honestly, any gratitude journal will do. I'm just gonna share this with you because this is the one that I personally use every day, obviously because I wrote it, and it is my own gratitude practice. These are the Everyday Presence Guided Gratitude Journals. There's also a digital version if you want to start this right away instead of waiting for it to come on Amazon, and it has lots of nice goal setting stuff here in the beginning, and then a daily journaling rhythm that only takes a couple of minutes but is extremely helpful in romanticizing your life. That's why I wrote the whole thing. That is the whole point. These are available on Amazon, and I will link them below for you. So in the morning, every morning, I write an intention for the day. Like, how do I want today to feel? How do I want to react to obstacles that come my way? What do I want the vibe to be? Then I write down 3 tasks. These are meant to be like, if I only get 3 things done today, these are the 3 things, and I'm gonna be satisfied with that. And then I write 3 things that I can do to make today great. And this just creates intentional little moments for me of like, oh, I could have a fun drink in the afternoon, or I can go outside and pick a bouquet of flowers from my garden. Then in the evening, I come back to the book and I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for. And the key with this is to not make them my health, my family, and a roof over my head. Like, those are great things, and we should be grateful for those things, but these are supposed to be like tiny little, seemingly insignificant parts of your day. Like, my cup of coffee this morning was so good, or my toddler brought me a dandelion today. Things like that, so that you start to see those little glimmers in your everyday life. And there's sneaky psychology behind this too, because when we know we have to write down those 3 things at the end of the day every day, our brains will start searching for them throughout the day, and we're more likely to recognize them and like make a big deal out of them when they happen. I also write down 1 thing I can do to make tomorrow even better, and my favorite, which is my main character moment today. And this is probably like the most romanticizing my life part of this whole exercise, because every day I have to work to find a main character moment, even if it's something as tiny as like looking out the window at the rain and like listening to the rain and like envisioning how that would look if I was like in a movie, you know. It just helps you to get that kind of vibe of my life is cinematic, and even when bad things happen, it's all for the plot, you know. I don't know if you've heard that theory, but like, it's all for the plot. So those are my updated tips on how to romanticize your life as a mom. I hope this was helpful for you, and I hope that it changes your life as much as it changed mine. I find so much more joy in motherhood now, and I think my kids' lives are also better because I started doing this. I'll also link the last video that I did like this up here somewhere, so that you can check that one out too, because that one also has a lot of good tips that I still use. And if you like this kind of content, please make sure you're subscribed. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys lots, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye!
I follow only golden